So what we're going to do is we want to share with you all of the rules of the 75 hard and give you some tips and strategies to make sure that you don't have to start over. And even if you do, you're still willing to lean in and finish what you started, because this is the greatest opportunity for us to build this mental toughness. Now, there are 5 distinct rules in the 75 hard challenge. Now, I want to start off by saying it's called the 75 hard on purpose. Because if you, let's say you go in and you adjust some of these rules and you make it the 75 medium or the 75 easy,
Kind of easy.
how are you developing those 7 habits of mentally tough people if you're not willing to get uncomfortable? You're not willing to challenge what you're currently thinking right now. And the truth is I've seen a lot of people who've done versions of it and they haven't been able to transform as much as the people who go all in. So when I say these rules, I want you to be very conscious of your willingness to maybe want to jump in and change them. It's called the 75 hard for a reason. It has to be hard because that is what gives you the opportunity to develop these mental toughness, right? So rule number 1 is following a diet designed for performance. Now, here's what this means. Everybody's going to do something a little different when it comes to their diet. But when you think about a diet based off of performance, you're thinking about it gets you to perform and to take more action, to feel more energy, and you want to plan this out in advance. One thing you don't want to do is just say, hey, I'm just going to eat better, because you don't know when you get to the end of the day if you can check the box that says, did I follow my diet? When we get very specific in diets, you just have to think about what is it that I'm going to be eating? Now, when you think about the term diet, a lot of people get like they just don't know what that word is, or they just have a negative connotation. It's just the food that you're putting into your body. Now, some things you can't do is you can't have quote unquote cheat meals where you're like, hey, just on Saturday, I'm just going to give myself the ability of having cheat meals. And then I'm going to say that I did the 75 hard. That's not the case. It's 75 days in a row, following the diet that you said you were going to follow, and no cheat meals. It means no cheat meals, no treats, no special snacks or anything unless you specifically build it into the program. It also means no alcohol. Yes, 75 days of no alcohol. And I got to tell you, I don't struggle with this, but I have a lot of friends who did, a lot of friends who do. And that is the biggest game changer that they experience in the 75 hard, is removing that from their system and realizing that if they're going to bring it back, that's cool. But so many times they don't never bring it back because they feel what it's like after 75 days to not do that. So you got to plan it out in advance. Don't overcomplicate it. And just think about, what is my diet and nutrition going to be like? What would it look like if I succeed? And what are some things that would make me feel like I actually failed because I didn't follow it? And when you plan this out in advance, you can actually solve for those problems.
Yeah, no, I think that clarifying what the rules are is great, because that way you have some direction, right? Because if you make it super vague, then you're not going to know whether or not you actually did what you needed to do, right? And it can seem like, I don't want to start a diet and be restrictive. Well, that's why it's up to you, right? You figure out what your nutrition is and what actually makes you feel good. Because we all know some of the foods that we eat, or some of the habits that we have around food and snacks, we know how that makes us feel. So create something for yourself that doesn't feel like it's super restrictive, because you don't want to feel bad about yourself. You want to feel like, yes, you are making some changes and it is a little bit difficult, but also that it's something that makes you feel good so that you can keep going.
Yes. Yeah. Well, one of the things that I do want to call out to is when you don't define what it looks like and you get to the end of the day and there's a checkbox to say, did you follow your nutrition? If you don't know the answer to that definitively, the answer is no. I hate to break it to you. If you don't plan it out, you get to the end of day 1 and you're like, I think I kind of did. Then the answer is no. You have to be very specific about, this is what it is that I'm doing and this is how I'm going to eat. Like Teresa said, it doesn't mean you have to remove every single thing of joy in your life. No, it just means that you have a plan and did you stick to it? That is rule number 1. Now, I didn't really call out to this in the beginning, but as you're going through this, when you think about these 5 rules, if you miss any one of them, you have to start over at day 1 the next day. Which means if you get to day 60, we actually had one person get to day 62, I think, and then you miss one. I think he missed the second workout, or it was the picture. It was something very, very easy. He missed that thing, and then he decided to start over, and he did another 75 days, which hats off to you, because if you had 75 plus 60, it's a whole lot. It's really, really powerful, but I got to tell you how much mental toughness that built in him, because he was like, I'm going to do it again. Because when you start to see how this actually plays out in your life and how more in control you are of everything, not just your physical health, but how much more in control you are in your business, your family, your connections, your career. It's a game changer when you do that, right? So that's step number 1, is follow a diet designed for performance. Figure it out beforehand. Rule number 2 is 2 45-minute workouts each day. Now, there's some caveats to this. One of the workouts has to be outside. That means you have to do it in the elements. I would also suggest you figure out where you are and what time would be a good time. In California today, it's 108. I'm not going to be doing my second workout at 2 p.m. outside. I will do probably my earlier workout outside, and then later in the day, I will do my second workout in the garage. It'll still be hot. It'll still be stuff I have to deal with, but I'm planning it out in advance. So you need to have 2 workouts of 45 minutes each. You have to have at least 3 hours in between those workouts. So you can't do 45 minutes and then back to back do another 45 minutes. You have to have at least 3 hours separation between those workouts. So if you're going to work out at 7 in the morning, you can work out again at 10 o'clock, but it has to be 3 hours separation, right? So it's 2 workouts, 45 minutes each, and one of them has to be outside. I want to challenge you on this a little bit, all right? This one right here helped me get closer to my family than I had ever been before because I was willing to think differently. One of the things you can do is when we think about exercise, we don't say you have to actually have workout with dumbbells or whatever. You could do stretching, you could do walking, you could do hiking, you could do biking, you could do swimming, you could do anything that you want to that's a physical activity inside or outside, okay? One of the things that I did is every night I would come home, we would eat dinner, and I would take somebody else from my family outside on a 45-minute walk with me. So I would take Jay or Andrew or Teresa. Some Sundays, usually I go out by myself, and I'm doing it for 45 minutes outside in the elements. That counts as a workout, right? So I don't want you to think that this program is going to be taking away from other areas. If you think it is, it's because you're not being willing to think of things a little bit more creatively. And I want you to jump into the app because we're going to help you create some things and ways of being able to do this. I'm thinking about like work schedules and stuff like this. I was able to do this when I was working LAPD when we were actually on the riot lines for 13 days straight. And I was able to do it because I planned it in advance and I thought differently and I found different ways in there to be able to get up and walk around like when most everybody was sitting down, but doing that for 45 minutes outside was my version of a workout. So there's creative ways to do this, but you have to get 2 workouts in, 45 minutes each, have a separation of at least 3 hours. Now, the third thing is you have to read 10 pages of a personal development book. We have a really powerful book that we're reading inside of our book club. It's called Immunity to Change. Some of those words are super small on that page, all right? You have to, no matter which book you pick, you have to read at least 10 pages. You could read more. Now, an audiobook does not count. I know, kind of crazy. It's like, well, I could just listen to an audiobook. No, for this specific challenge, you actually have to read 10 pages from a personal development book, which means it's not true personal development until it's impacting every area of your life. Now, there's a lot of business books that do impact every area of your life, and that's totally cool. But make sure that you're focusing on a personal development book and you're reading 10 pages a day, every day, Saturday, Friday, Sunday, all those days. Make sure that you're reading them. That is the third rule that you have to follow. The fourth rule is drink 1 gallon of water a day. A lot of people think that this is the hardest thing. And I got to tell you, like when I was pushing a police car is what they say, when I was actually out on the street, it was hard because you had to go to the bathroom like every 5 minutes and your partner did not like that. But you have to get creative of how you do this. I would make sure that you stop drinking at a certain amount of time so you don't have to wake up a million times at night, but you have to drink 1 gallon of water per day. Couple options that you can do, and this is something that we've tried, is you can literally just get 1 gallon of water and just carry it around with you everywhere. Another way is if you have like your regular water bottle. Let me see right here. So if I have something like this, what I can do is I can figure out how many of these is 1 gallon, and I have rubber bands that I would put on this, and every time I fill it up, I take another rubber band off and another rubber band off the next time I fill it up. And when I have them all off, I know that I have drank at least 1 gallon of water. So find a way to be able to identify whether or not you drank that gallon of water for that day. And it has to be completed before you go to bed.
Can I give a little tip too that I've done before is I've gotten a gallon of water that has like those markings. I have the gallon of water and then I have a cup that's I think 16 ounces because I like my water cold. So I'll put ice in that one and I'll pour from the gallon, the big gallon into that cup. And then I'll do that throughout the day. And I can see, for me, it feels like, oh my gosh, this is so much water. And when I see like the whole big picture, it's a little bit intimidating. But if I start pouring from that and I kind of see it going down, like it helps me. So there's a lot of little things that you can actually do that works best for you to make sure that you actually do it.
I like it. All right. The fifth rule, which is the easiest of them all. And people miss it all the time. You have to take a progress picture every single day.
Selfie.
Yes. You got to take a selfie of yourself every single day. I can only imagine how frustrating it is. You do all of these things and you forget to take and snap the picture of yourself. Don't do that. However you can, first thing in the morning, before you go to use the bathroom, before you brush your teeth, like have some type of way of reminding yourself to snap that picture. Because if you're waiting until the end of the day, it's going to be super frustrating if you were to miss that, right? Now, those are the 5 rules of the 75 Hard, and you have to complete them before you go to bed. Quick recap. Number 1, you follow a diet designed for performance. Number 2, 2 45-minute workouts. One of them must be outside, separated by 3 hours. Number 3 is read 10 pages of a personal development book every single day. Number 4 is drink a gallon of water every single day. And number 5 is take a progress picture every single day. That is what you can do for 75 days, and then you technically complete the 75 Hard program. If at any point you miss any of those, you forget them, you don't get to continue. You have to start back over on day number 1. Now, here's the thing. Having done this with thousands of people now in multiple different groups, I've noticed that the key to success is the people that you surround yourself with and the people who are doing the program with you. Now, there's a few of you who maybe already have mental toughness. Maybe you do have that discipline and you're going to be able to do this for 75 days on your own. And then there's the 99.9% of us that need a team to be able to do this. That's why I actually put these together. This is like the 4th time I think we were doing it as a team. I only did it once solo. And I got to say, it was much easier when I do it with a team. Because when you're surrounded by other people who understand how this works, they understand not only your potential, but they can jump in there and remind you of what you're fighting for. It's really powerful that you can lean into a team to do that. Now, here's the thing about 75 Hard. You can start whenever you want, but I really challenge you to pick a day and start. It's all about working together as a team. Now, if you're not a part of this and you would love to be a part of it, if you go to modernleadership.us/75 Hard, you can join our squad room. I think we put it at like $25 or something like that. This is not something where we're going to get rich, but we want you to have some type of buy-in so you actually participate, you get some feedback, you get some help, and you get a little bit of push along the way. Now, if you're part of the Inner Circle program, it's here on YouTube. If you click the join button, it's $10 a month to be a part of that. And we're going to be doing some live streams that are going to be able to help people and guide them through the program. If you're part of that, you're actually a part of the 75 Hard for free. You can go into the Inner Circle squad room, scroll down. There's a link there that I think actually has a link to this video, but below that, it has a way of getting into the 75 Hard for free. We need you to commit. We need you to commit to be all in, to be willing to fight those fights, not only in your brain, but actually implement the things that were strategies that we teach you, share when you need some help along the way, and be able to share your lessons and wins as we go. And if you're willing to do that, we would love to see you in the program.